Hey everyone, welcome back to another PNSO review. Today we're taking a look at Thabo, the Suchomimus. Yes, I am back. I took a unscheduled, just over 2 weeks off from recording reviews on the channel. The holiday season always completely burns me out, and after New Year's, I just needed a break to collect myself. And on top of collecting myself, I completely forgot that this Suchomimus released from PNSO. I didn't realize it to the other day until I saw more people posting pictures of him. Like, oh crap, I did not order this. So I went on Amazon. It was actually available on Prime. Ordered it a couple days ago, and it finally arrived. Now this figure retails for $38.99. I'll leave a link down below to Amazon if you want to order this figure for yourself. Now the PNSO Suchomimus was rumored for a very long time to be coming out. Then we got that Sinopliosaurus, and everyone was kind of like, maybe that was the rumored Suchomimus, but I'm happy that PNSO actually delivered on the species. They want a really nice figure of the species for a long time, and PNSO definitely delivered. So let's go over the package really quick before we take a closer look at the figure. Get a nice picture of Thabo, I guess that's how you say it. On the front of the box, it's number 67 in the Prehistoric Animal Models line. Another picture of Thabo on the top of the box, same thing on the other side. And inside the box, you do get a pamphlet with some glamour shots of the Suchomimus figure itself. And then we do have a skeletal, I believe, somewhere in here. Here is the skeletal, and then the rest of the book is just, how to draw Suchomimus and a bunch of words. And then inside you do get, mercifully, one poster. I'm so glad they went back down to one poster with these figures. It was just getting a little bit out of hand. Let's just do the camera out just a little bit. You get some nice artwork of the Suchomimus, and it has pretty much the same color scheme as the figure. Usually, sometimes with this artwork, it's a different color scheme than the actual figure, so it's nice that they're using the actual figure's color scheme for this artwork. So enough about the packaging. Let's throw this thing up on the turntable and take a closer look. And here is Thabo in all its glory, and I have to say, another nicely done figure from PNSO. They've been on a hot streak with their figures since like the midpoint of last year, and the Suchomimus is no different. Definitely going to be my definitive version of the species in my collection. They did a really good job on it. It's beautifully sculpted. You can see it has good balance, nice proportionate feet. The whole front of the figure looks very front heavy. You got those big powerful forearms. You got that long narrow snout. The color scheme is kind of drab. It's just gray with a little bit like a cream striping along the tail. It kind of reminds me of their Torvosaurus color scheme, but you do have a nice splash of color on the crest along the snout. Like I said, the head is absolutely beautiful on here. Nice and narrow looking and long as it should be. Those hands, the thumb claw is sculpted nice and huge. All around a really nice figure, and I am quite happy with it. And now time for some measurements. This figure, if you measure along the curve of the tail, is 12 inches long, or 30.5 centimeters, 3 3/4 inches tall to the top of the head, or 8 1/4 centimeters. So Suchomimus in real life was between 31 to 36 feet long, or 9.5 to 11 meters. So with those measurements, that puts this figure somewhere in the 131 to the 136 scale range. And just like all bipedal figures from PNSO, you get this clear acrylic stand to place underneath the chest. Even though this figure is standing fine on its own right now, I always highly recommend that you use these stands. They do tend to warp over time, and they will fall off your shelf and get damaged. And now let's zoom in and take a look at some of the finer details on this figure, starting with the head. The head is beautifully sculpted, very long, and very narrow. Let's get the camera to focus in on that. Look at those cute little eyes looking back at you. So yeah, really well done head sculpt. You can see the nostrils are sculpted right here. Lots of nice, very proportionate scales all over the body. PNSO's got a lot better with the scalation on the figures. They look much more proportionate. Eye is painted yellow with a black pupil. You have this beautiful splash of color along the nasal crest, along the skull. You got bright red that transitions to orange, yellow, green, and a little bit of blue. So that's really nice little rainbow effect on there. That's really cool. I mean, the rest of the figure is pretty drab, but I do like that it has a nice splash of color on here. Maybe this represents a male Suchomimus. You can see larger scales sculpted along the snout. Give it that crocodile look with those pressure scales. Jaw is articulated. It can open up that wide, and inside we have rows and rows of very tiny proportion teeth. My God, my hands shake so bad sometimes when I'm doing these reviews. Get some larger teeth in the front of the jaw, and then they transition to smaller teeth as you go all the way down. Looking inside the mouth, you get some nice mouth detail, especially on the roof of the upper jaw. You can see some nasal passages sculpted right there, which is always a really, really nice touch. The gum tissue is done really, really well. And then going down to the neck, you have a very thick and powerful neck stop. Shaking Greg, I gotta stop drinking coffee before I do these reviews. You get some nice osteoderms all peppered throughout the neck and body. You have this kind of like this caked on dirt look. You see it around the osteoderms, which gives it a very natural look. You do have this brown stripe going all the way down the body to the base of the tail, going down to those very muscular and powerful looking forearms. Those are really nicely done. You got the large thumb claw, beautifully, beautifully sculpted, all decked out in glossy light brown paint. On the underside of the figure, we have a nice cream coat with some nice washes to bring out all that wonderful detail. And since we have the figure turned over, let's do our butthole check a little bit early. Look at that. It's a nice, cute little puckering cloaca going down to the body. You can see more of those rows of osteoderms all over it. And if you run your finger along this brown stripe right here, you can actually feel the ridge from the high neural spines that the species is known from. Going down to the legs, very powerful looking thigh and calf muscles. The feet are nice and proportionate, sculpted in a nice walking pose. And let's take a look at that back leg. See the dew claw and all the toe claws are nicely painted in that light dark brown color. And then going down to the tail, you have this nice striping effect, which I said reminds me of their Torvosaurus. Pretty drab color scheme, but I just think that splash of color really makes the whole figure come together. Really well done. Very, very happy with this figure. And now for comparisons, first up here is Collecte's little 140 scale human. And next up here is Safari Limited Suchomimus. Come on, stand. My studio has like a dip in the center for me reviewing so many figures all these years. I got to replace it eventually. So yeah, up until the PNS one came out, the Safari one was my, go-to Suchomimus in my collection, but you can see the PNSO one is light years ahead of this one. This is an old figure from them, so I'm not knocking it too much. And next up here is Safari Limited Baryonyx, which is a fantastic figure from them. I wonder if PNSO somewhere down the line will be tackling the species. I'm going to say the answer is most likely yes, because they crank out a very, very high output of dinosaur figures. And next up here is PNSO's Sinopliosaurus. I think it's a gorgeous looking, very well done figure, but the figure annoys me because, we've been over it in the review. It's, just based on a couple of teeth, and it was just PNSO being tryhards to include another Asian species in their lineup. I appreciate all the Asian dinosaur species that they've been giving us, but I feel like they kind of just overreached with this one, and I feel like it was a waste of time and money because now we actually got a Suchomimus. A lot of people were saying, oh, I'm just going to consider this my Suchomimus for now, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, just felt like this figure was a big waste of time and money, even though it is gorgeous. And one more Spinosaur from them. Here it is with their Spinosaurus. Hopefully one day we'll get a larger updated one now. Who knows what's going on? We just had an update on Spinosaurus. It wasn't, fully aquatic. The torso was a little bit shorter. There's a couple other anatomical differences with the paper that came out versus the current models that we have out there. And let's do one more Spinosaur figure. Here is Dino Hazard's Irritator. And next up here is Safari Limited Nigersaurus. The reason I have this figure out is because Nigersaurus was found in the same formation as Suchomimus. That is, I'm probably going to mispronounce it, the Ehlers formation. So Rhinosaurus is also from that formation, so I really love PNSO to do an Rhinosaurus. There's barely any good figures of that one besides the Batat one, and which is quite pricey at this time. So hopefully we get a nice updated Rhinosaurus from PNSO or anybody in the near future. And lastly, here it is with their Wilson T-Rex. So final thoughts on PNSO Suchomimus. It's a very, very well done figure. I'm quite happy with it. Definitely my definitive version of the species in my collection going forward. It's beautifully sculpted. I just love the really muscular, powerful looking forearms. Head sculpt is absolutely gorgeous. Paint scheme's a little bit drab, but it makes up for it with that nice splash of color along the head. So yeah, all around a great figure, and I highly recommend it. Like I said, the beginning review, ended up picking this figure off of Amazon, retails for $38.99. I'll leave the link down below in the description. So that will do it for the review. Getting everything back on track now, so we should be seeing a lot more reviews on the channel. Went to Target yesterday, found a bunch of the new Jurassic World stuff. I got the Risky Rescue pack. I found Ray Arnold and Robert Muldoon. I probably won't be reviewing those two until I find the Pachycephalosaurus and male Velociraptor. I like to review the human figures with the dinosaur that they release with. So be on the lookout for more new reviews on the channel. And as always, if you're enjoying the content on here, show your support by hitting that subscription button just below the video. Each subscription helps out the channel tremendously, and it's greatly appreciated. And I'll see you guys for the next one.